been asked to lead the command center in Asheville this coming weekend, along with providing some work crews. So we're excited to be there. This will be our third trip into Asheville as a stake. We've come to love the home stake there, as well as the members of the community there that we're serving. My counselor, President Burke Hunsaker, is here on the line. He and I will be attempting to run the show there at the command center. And then my executive secretary, Mike Olson, is going to be the one that actually keeps us in line. He will make sure we don't step outside of the boundaries we're supposed to. And then because the two of us together are such a threat, President Craig Bell will also be there to help keep us in check as we go through the weekend. We've got a number of members of our stake, as well as from the Asheville stake, that will be helping to run the command center for the equipment and supplies, the work orders that you'll be receiving, as well as a number of other bits of information there, or just support there at the command center. For tonight, I think just a couple key things. For those of you that have been on responses before, we look forward to having you join with us. And if you haven't been on a response, we very much look forward to having you join with us, because we're on kind of the tail end of the work that's required in Asheville. One of the things that we need everybody to be mindful of is that there's a decent possibility that we may run into situations where work orders have been completed, that we're running out to go find. And it's going to really make it important for us to do everything that we can to reach out to the homeowners before we arrive, to try to minimize those types of things. I'm sure Brother Olson will go through a little bit more detail on that. The other piece that I'll just say is this is meant to be interactive. So we encourage questions, especially in the chat. President Hunsaker and myself will be monitoring the chat to be able to provide answers to questions there. Brother Olson's going to go through some high-level information, things that we think are really critical for all of you to understand about this coming weekend. And then once he's finished with that, we'll make it where the formal part of the meeting is over, and those that have no further questions are welcome to leave. We will stay on the line to be able to address every question that you guys have. So we will not run away. We'll stay here until the last question has been answered. So with that, Burke, is there anything that you want to add to that before we turn it over to Mike?
Let's turn it over to Mike, and we'll be monitoring the chat. And if you have questions, or I'd suggest you do, if you can ask questions, put them in the chat. We'll answer those questions in rapid fire towards the end, and then we can let Mike get through the presentation. Then we will address questions at the conclusion of his presentation.
Fantastic. All right, we will jump right in here. So glad that everybody is on the call tonight. So first of all, thank you, just as President Nelson, our stake President Nelson, who we love and appreciate. Thanks for being here. And as always, we appreciate those that are coming from Asheville and from other areas where you're affected yourself, and now you're coming to help others. Welcome. Glad that you're here. And thanks for getting your work crews organized and keeping your crew safe, and really ministering and serving through gospel action this coming weekend. And I know we're not back home yet, but please always keep in mind getting your work crew back home safe. And many thanks to the repeat crews that are coming back for a second trip. We're glad you're here. So as President Nelson mentioned, we're going to do a part A and part B. So I'm going to do rapid fire through our assignment, talk about the command center, camping, RV sites, conditions, crew leader responsibilities, work crew organization, tools and equipment, work orders, crisis cleanup, next steps, making a difference. And then we'll end there, as President Nelson said, the formal meeting, and then we'll switch to Q&A. And we're trying to keep this short to 25 minutes so we can run through this for veterans and also for new team leaders, crew leaders, so that you get a quick overview of everything. So post your questions in the chat. and many will respond, and anything left over at the end, we'll do raise your hand and go through those chat questions that haven't been answered. We just want to help you have a great experience this weekend. So setting expectations. Thank you to everyone that served in the Asheville area for the last 3 weeks. Some things to keep in mind for all of us is we're all volunteers. We just all want to help. Some of us help in different ways. So just appreciate those that help in different ways. Do all the B's. Be patient, be kind, be loving, be helpful, be flexible. Things are going to change. So just roll with it, do your best. Keep your crew focused as much as you can. And this is really, it's not our work. This is the Lord's work that we all know. We're just a small part of it. So keep that in mind. So our assignment here is to the Asheville Command Center. This probably needs to be updated, but earlier today we had 421 volunteers and 36 plus work crews. We're so grateful you're coming. The Asheville Command Center is a church building in Arden. There's 7 stakes coming listed there. There's a command website that's pasted in the chat by President Bell. So check that often. I've added a tag. There's a tag at the top that says when the website was updated, so you can always see, okay, there's new information. I'll try to highlight that. I love yellow. Get to the point. And so you can look at the website and see that and get that out to your work crews. Expected work types. So three things, mostly tree work, debris, tarp work as well. So think chainsaws, wheelbarrows, sleds, heavy equipment, a ladder for tarping, and a need for large chainsaws. Some of these work sites, they need some large chainsaws. So if you have them, can borrow them, please bring them with. And we'll get more into that in a little bit, but just keep that in mind. Some flood remediation, mucking, cleaning things up. So think wheelbarrows, sleds, shovels, pry bars, knives, hammers, masks. Come prepared for that. And then at the command center, there's a distribution kit, food kit available, a cleaning kit, and water. And we request that you grab a couple of those as you come through and give those out into the community to the people that you help. Command center camping and RV site. So here's a view of the command center. This is the 4th week that it will be in operation. My home stake will be leading the command center. So we are there to help you. Power's on, water's on, not potable. There are restrooms. Cell coverage is greatly improving. There's Wi-Fi there. There is no camping, parking, or overnight parking there at the command center. The challenge here is the parking lot flow. We basically have one way to come in and one way to go out. So that brings us to this. We call the rally point. This is the BB Barnes Garden Center. It's just across the street to the north of the command center. It's up here in the yellow orange area. So the request is if you come to the command center, please park there and just walk over. This is the place if you need to meet your crew, meet there at the rally point. Heavy equipment trailers, they need to go there. There's just not room at the church to handle them. So only send your crew leader over or your designate to the command center for supplies, chainsaws, t-shirts, all of that good stuff.
Mike,
one thing of note, there is an ongoing community outreach going on there that will be there during the day and the evening. Yes, President Nelson, go right ahead.
I was just going to say one other best practice, as opposed to the rally point there across the street at BB Barnes, would be a rally point at your first work order, and only have the crew leader or a designate come to the command center to grab the supplies that are needed. So the rally point at BB Barnes is not a requirement, but if your team is going to rally somewhere besides a work site, it should not be the command center. It needs to be at that BB Barnes across the street.
Very good. Thank you, President. So no power there, no water, no restrooms. Cell coverage is there, daytime only parking. So campsites, there are, we'll talk about campsite number 1 first. This is the baseball fields at the Valley Springs Middle School. There are 4 temporary cold water showers that have been set up there. It's about 7 minutes from the command center. There are restrooms there. Bring your own supplies, soap, toilet paper, just in case. Always be prepared. Capacity's about 400 people, 200 cars, and 200 tents. And you can see below here, power's on, water's there, but not drinkable. There's restrooms, showers, and car parking. Not necessarily truck or trailer parking. There just isn't room in that parking lot. Tent site camping number 2. This is the Weaverville Meeting House. Very small parking lot. There's really no room for trailers there. It's approximately 45 minutes north of the command center, so bring your own supplies there as well. And capacity, you can see 150, 75 cars and 75 tents is there. And that brings us to the RV and trailer camping site, which is the Asheville Stake Assembly Building. So this building is a designated camping with RVs and truck and trailer parking. This is a church building that you can park there overnight. There's limited tent space, and this picture is very misleading. That front lawn is very steep and really not suitable to put tents on. But around the parking lot, there's some green grass that tents could be set up on. Power's on. Water is available, but not potable at this point. Restrooms, yes, no showers, cell coverage, and there's Wi-Fi there. The big caveat with this location is that Sunday, there is a stake conference. The Asheville Stake Conference is being held there at 10 a.m. So by 8:30 a.m., all vehicles, everything needs to be out of the parking lot so that the Asheville members can meet together. And we can really understand that it's time for them to meet together, be together. So we want to make sure that that's available in the building and in the parking lot, that that's cleared out. Okay, conditions. And again, I'm going really quickly, but we'll cover Q&A at the end. So conditions, take a look at this. This was week 1. There were 300,000+ people without power. And in the Buncombe County, there were 58% were without power. Week 2, that went down to 29% and about 78,000 without power in North Carolina. And this week 4, down to 5,000 without power and just a small amount in Buncombe County. So amazing work by the line crews and utility crews. So improving. So conditions for fuel and food, much better availability. Fuel's available. There used to be long lines. Those are generally not present, but of course, dynamic situations, so things could change. Food status, better availability, grocery stores, fast food, much better. There may be some limited hours or closed due to the water not being potable. Conditions on roads. I think there was a question about roads. So check Waze, check Google Maps. There's been a lot of updates, but basically, as you all know, some of you are right there in the area, and you know that there are really 3 choices for roads, 3 status options. It's either open, it's closed and blocked, or it's just not there. So solutions, we've been embedding local experts with work crews. Now that cell coverage has improved, power's improved, there may be less of a need for that, but that is an option. And the local members have been so helpful. So shout out to them. But just be prepared. You can use offline maps, those things called paper maps, dig them out, they're useful. And you can get your addresses and map your routes before you even get there when you get your work orders. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Weather-wise, this is a perfect weekend. Couldn't be much better. Okay, crew leader responsibilities. A long list here. And this is, crew leaders are so important because your job is not just to run your chainsaw, but it's to take care of your crew. And that comes in 3 phases, before, during, and after. So first, safety and well-being of all your crew members, that's your number 1 priority. Number 2 is actually doing the work. So just keep that in mind. Register your team. I know many of you on here have already registered your team, so the crew leader should register your team. Register only once. If your crew number changes, that's okay. Or if you add equipment, heavy equipment in particular, which is needed, then you can text the command center contact, which you'll have, and let them know that you've added some heavy equipment, and they'd be happy to accommodate you. So right now, you should be organizing your team, gathering your tools, beg, borrow, steal, don't steal, but beg and borrow, and get that prepared before you come. That's your before. Create a group text, get your youth involved, put everybody on that link so you could pass this information that you're learning on tonight out to them. Super important to keep your youth involved and make them a part of this. Receive work orders. We'll talk more about that in a minute. They'll come from the command center, get those organized. So during, pick up your t-shirts, missing supplies at the command center. That's for crew leaders or designate only to come to the command center and get that. Contact your homeowners. As soon as you get your work orders, call them Thursday, call them Friday, call them on your way up, coordinate, take advantage of that. Queue and scout your next work order. Once you're on the job, if you've arrived someplace, probably the second thing you should do after you meet the homeowner is to get somebody to go and check out the next work site and scout that out. Decline out of scope work. It's okay to pass on work that is beyond your capability and pass it on to other work crews. There is no shame in that. Close out your work orders, return your equipment and tools at the end of the weekend to the command center. Unfortunately, this is not a take-home gift bag. Chainsaws, sleds, rakes, just come back to the command center. They will be put to use the next weekend or at other locations. And then return and report when your crew members are home. Let your bishop know, let your eldest quorum president know, let your stake president know. So best practices that we've learned over the years. As President Nelson said, meet at the first work site is best. The rally point is the second best. Do not meet at the command center, congestion, traffic. Week 2, we had 1,200 plus volunteers. There were a lot of great teams, and they became gold star teams because they only sent their command leader, their crew leader, to the command center and got organized and met at the first work site. Second point here, if you've got a crew leader that's really good on the chainsaw and running heavy equipment in the crew, consider having a co-crew leader that is there to watch over the crew. Because if you're on the saw and running equipment, who's watching your crew? Who's ministering? So think about that. You want to get the work done. You want to jump in there. We all do, but we also want to make sure that the crew is safe and that things are going in an orderly fashion. So, question for you: what's our goal this weekend? Are we there to work or help or minister or run the saw? Well, we're there to do all three. So we're doing more than just work orders. Take time to minister. We don't know what they've been through. Let them tell you. Love on them. Give them hope. Another best practice, like I said, call ahead, scout the next location. Be patient and flexible. Adjust to the conditions at your location. We're all volunteers. Okay, work crew organization. Here's some ideas. Many hands make light work. So think of a crew leader, co-crew leader, help with the work orders, scheduling things, someone to scout ahead for the next location. Think about that. Have a work order assistant where they're just dedicated to the paperwork side of things and communicating with the command center. Super helpful. And then a must-have is your ministry leader. Who on your crew is going to take the point to connect with the homeowner and talk with them and see what we can do and love them, support them. Who's going to do that on your team? Have someone have that responsibility. A listening ear and a friendly smile and a hug go a really long way. Break officer. If you've got somebody that can call breaks, and if you can, we get out there and we just want to keep cutting, but stop altogether and take a break. And 9 times out of 10, the homeowner will come out. Maybe they're helping you. Have them sit down and talk to you guys. Those are precious moments where you can really minister in the Lord's way and think about the Savior and what he did and sat down at the well and just talked. So we're doing that same thing up there. We're just sitting under a tree. So be creative, get everyone involved. All right, tools and equipment. We love the command center. We love it. It's great. But it's not a Home Depot. You don't have a gift card in your wallet and you're just checking out and picking up whatever you want. So bring what you have at home, borrow, be as self-reliant as you can. What it is, the command center is really there to fill in the gaps, and return tools and equipment. And by all means, if you do need those tools, send your crew leader to the command center and we will hook him up. But it's also our responsibility to bring our own stuff and take our own stuff home and leave what we borrowed up at the command center.
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
Yeah, so we have several chainsaws and they are sharpened, ready to go. And usually we have a couple chains per saw. So if your team only has one saw and you have about 10 people, come and grab a chainsaw. It'd be nice to have a chainsaw per about 5 people. Grab some sleds. Sleds are wonderful to pull big logs or whatever to the curb. So if you need a saw, come and get it. We have them. Let's use them.
And President Bell, we've got 70 plus saws that are sharpened. The Asheville guys have sharpened the saws. They are ready to go. So just a quick note, the command center is not Starbucks either. So, come. They don't have comfy chairs. They don't have books. They don't have hot cocoa. Just get in, get out. And you got to know that we've got 25, 30 plus people that have been working all week so that your command center experience is as smooth as possible. But we want you to be out in the field.
Hey, Mike.
Yep, go right ahead.
This is Jerry McLeod. Yeah, I'm going to be running the chainsaw area at the command center this weekend. If you need a chainsaw, then definitely come by. However, you have to show that you have taken the safety course on the church website in order to check out a chainsaw. If you don't know what that is, then you can just go to the church's main site, do a search for chainsaws, and it'll bring up a video. And then you have to watch the video, answer a few questions, and then it'll print out a certificate for you that you can then bring with you to the command center and show that. And then we can sign out a chainsaw to you.
Great point.
Thank you, Jerry. And that's Jerry McLeod. He's the chainsaw director, and he and his crew have done an excellent job. All right, I'm going to switch gears here. So just a couple personal items. These are not my slides, but personal equipment, think about what you want to bring so that you're taken care of. So when you show up, you can just focus on work. The last one there, smiles. Smiles are always important to bring. Suggested tools and equipment. This will vary. There's chainsaws. If you bring in a chainsaw, you guys know, bring your bar oil, bring your premix, bring some gas. You know what to bring. Bring your chaps. There are some of those things available at the command center, and they will hook you up as you check out a saw to make sure you've got those items. Wheelbarrows, garbage bags, first aid kit, all good things to bring with. And here's another list. And then we will share this slide deck. It'll be posted on the website. That link is in the chat. I've seen that scroll up a couple times. So this list will be on there. You can look at it a later time. All right. Work orders and crisis cleanup. This is important. What is crisis cleanup? We've all heard that, right? What the heck is crisis cleanup? So crisis cleanup is an inbound call center for storm victims, survivors to call an 800 number that's there, and they get a volunteer. And many of us on this call, we've been volunteers. We've been crisis cleanup volunteers and taken those inbound calls. And if you ever want to be humbled, become a crisis cleanup call center volunteer and take those inbound calls from older people, younger people, people that have lost hope. They need some help. They just need a little something done. They're not able to do it. They're getting charged tens of thousands of dollars to move a couple trees out of their yard. That's where this is. This collects those inbound calls, creates a work order database, and then it's used by organizations, churches, agencies. And it's not just our church. It's used by many different organizations. So key point, crisis cleanup is not owned by the church. We partner with them. We provide volunteers for them, but we are not crisis cleanup. There's a phone app. You can get logged in. Everyone on this call should have access to that. So if you don't, ask around. You can go on there and request and become a member so that you've got access to things. Super useful. A couple notes down here at the bottom. There are over 41,000 work orders from these last 2 hurricanes. That has broken the phone system. That is the biggest number we've ever seen in the past 30 years of doing this. We've never seen 41,000. That's just off the charts. So yeah, it's clunky. There may be some bugs. It may crash on you, but it's a very valuable resource. And one note though, when people call in to crisis cleanup, the work is not guaranteed to be done. We'll create a work order, go into a database, and hopefully people like you will pick that up and go and help them. So expectations, we got to set expectations here. So on the left, when the storm first hits, there's kind of 3 phases. There's an early phase where there's no work order, power, phones are out, everyone needs help. You just help where you stand. You show up, it's week 1, you just go and help. And then there's kind of the middle phase here at the top. Work orders are available, people still need help, but some people just don't know where to ask. They never called crisis cleanup. And so we need to proactively look and scout for those opportunities. Ask the job site neighbors, friends down the street if they need help. 9 times out of 10, every site we've been on, somebody walks up, what are you guys doing? Oh, my neighbor needs help. My mother-in-law needs help. You can find work if you ask. And then there's the perfect situation where, there's perfect work orders. They're perfectly documented with pictures. They're co-located. They're right next to each other, and they're easy jobs. And, we're running 140 miles an hour. But in reality, that just doesn't happen. So we're here in the middle. There are work orders. It's going to get you out in the field. There's been a team of people working on work orders all through the week. Starting on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, tonight, they're working on getting those work orders to you. So let's get into some more detail here. I'm going to quickly run through this. So, it's a fluid situation. Cell coverage is improving. Use your maps. Know where you're going for your first work site. Have your crew meet there. If needed, we can get a local person to be embedded with you, except for when it interferes with state conference. We want them to be able to go to state conference. So work order delivered. When do you get your work orders? Well, first you got to have your crew leader register, and then the work order crew have been working feverishly. They will get those to you tomorrow. It'll be an email, and then you'll have access to a folder with work orders. And then you will also be provided a specific contact at the command center that you'll deal with back and forth. And that goes back to having a co-crew leader, an assistant that's doing that communication back and forth. Because the 25, 30 people at the command center, our job and our desire is that you are worn out. That is what we're trying to do, that you are out there working and you are worn out by the end of the day. But we're going to need your help. Priorities. So command center is still working with crisis cleanup. They're working with members, friends, first responders, interfaith, politicians, anywhere where we can get the people that need help. They will send those out to you. So in the middle of the day, you may get a new request to get a new site. So pick that up, do what you can with it. Be flexible. The command center is trying to focus where the need is greatest. And then close out any work orders. And there's a church release form. So if you get out there and you need to work on another property next door or down the street, you can get the release form. This is the church release form from the webpage, from the Command Center webpage, and you can fill that out, have them sign that, and then go to work. So a couple key points here. It's okay to decline work that's out of scope. Don't get anyone hurt. It's just not worth it. And it's okay to return to work site with heavy equipment and saws. Maybe the easy stuff was done and now they need some harder stuff. So those with experienced operators, bigger saws, you may be asked to go back to a site and finish it up. So be prepared for that. And it's okay to help neighbors near the work site. Ask around, be proactive. It's okay to do that. And it's okay to help without an official work order from crisis cleanup. You can use that church release form to jump on something next door and print that out, take it with you, It's on the website, and make use of that. And it's okay to help people. If you're driving by somewhere where they're handing out food or whatever, stop, say hello, ask them if they need any help from you or if anyone's come through that needs help. I mean, just get lost in the work, and the work can vary since we're kind of in the middle of this weekends of work. Switching gears, communication. Stephen Stay, Trevor Hobbs, those are our point of contacts for communications. If you got some great pictures that are good pictures and people not in dangerous situations, please email them to these two brothers. If you have a reporter or somebody asking you questions that feel great, meet with them, talk with them, but also direct them back to these two, and they'll get an official spokesperson that can give you all the statistics correctly and be that interface. So there's been some great news stories. We had some reporters come through on week 2 that you probably saw. They interviewed President Gillette. Amazing description of what we're trying to do there, and some great coverage for the church. And not that we're looking for anything, but for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, it was great to see that. Okay, donations. You're going to get asked, oh, I want to donate this or that. We've been asked to have donations that are coming in, or people want to donate, to send them to the Manna Food Bank. All the information is here. I'll post these slides. Check the open hours, and then what they're looking for. So great resource up there right in Asheville, in Mills River. Okay, we're almost done. Next steps, and you may have seen it in this presentation, there's been some gold stars. So I know you've all been asking, how do we become a gold star crew? Now, we had a number of gold star crews in week 2. Maybe some of you were there. So here it is. Before you arrive, and this is kind of a recap. So if you're a crew leader, register your crew, and do that before 10 o'clock tonight so that we can accurately gauge a number of things. Create your group text, empower your crew members, give them roles and responsibility, make them feel like they're part of your crew. Forward all this information to your crew members. They need to know. I'm sure they've got the same questions you do. Create your crisis cleanup account. Ensure you're training for all chainsaw operators, as Jerry McLeod mentioned earlier. Collect your work orders, get them organized for the command center. You'll get those tomorrow, Thursday. You may even get some tonight. Who knows? They've been working diligently to get those to you. Call ahead with your homeowners. You may need to text them. You may need to leave a message. I mean, you're going to look like a spam call. So let them know who you are and what you're looking for. Okay, meet at the first work site. Scope out your next, or send your crew leader to the command center. Get your T-shirts. Make sure your crew wears them. It's awesome to see these yellow shirts. They may be dirty, but who cares? Scope out the safest way to do your work. Minister to the homeowner. Keep your crew members safe. Get your scout team out there. Queue up your next work order. Close out the work order. Attend SACR meeting on Sunday morning. This will be at 7:30. Location is TBD. That depends on how many people we have during the weekend. I'll go out on a limb here and say it will either be at the football stadium or it will be at the Arden building, the command center building, and it'll be just that morning at 7:30. Be a quick meeting, but please, if you've got friends on your crew, your neighbor joined your crew, please bring them with. I sat with a person we invited, never been to a SACR meeting. It was short and sweet, and we all felt the spirit. It was an awesome occasion. So don't miss out on that opportunity. And then after, return your tools, get safely home, and thank your crew. That's a Gold Star crew. So last slide here, and we'll get to the Q&A. So just the spiritual ministry side of things, how you make a difference. You make a difference by getting to know who you're serving. You're respectful to the home, the yard, personal items. Who knows what you're going to run across. So be mindful in situations. If you've got younger people on the crew and you come across things that are sensitive in nature, be mindful and be smart about that. Please share with the people you meet that you're volunteers from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. President Nelson, our prophet, not President Nelson, our stake president, has very aptly taught us that's the name we should be using. It's on our shirts. That's why you want to wear the yellow shirts, even if they're dirty. Encourage your crew members to do that. But please, we're not Mormons, we're not helping hands, and we're not crisis cleanup. We're volunteers from different locations, from hours away, from Tennessee, from Georgia, from North Carolina, South Carolina. We're just there to help because we're all brothers and sisters. And the last thing, ask for permission to say a prayer. One of the greatest things we've learned and experienced over the years is that prayer. And if you know the person, you're going to pray for them by name. And maybe sometimes they will offer the prayer. Some of the most awesome experiences we've had is when we've been prayed for by the person that was the victim in the storm. And they prayed for us and brought us to tears. And please do that. Take a picture if it's appropriate. Share that picture with them. Thank your crew. And with that, President Nelson, we are through the slides and can switch gears to the Q&A session.
Fantastic. Thank you, Brother Olson. So I know that President Hunsaker, President Bell, and myself have been trying to provide answers to questions in the chat. We'll probably, President Hunsaker, maybe I'll have you run through some of those really quickly just to race through some of those things in the chat. And then we can also open it up if you have questions, if you want to use the Zoom feature to raise your hand down there at the bottom of your screen. So that we know you have a question, we can take questions live here as well. So President Hunsaker, do you want to get started there?
Maybe just, there were a couple comments or questions about chainsaws. The bigger, the better. There was a comment about 36 inches. Yes, that's the type and size of saw that we would like to have. I believe there's going to be a link or a doc sent out by Jeff Seebeck, who is our work order coordinator. He's going to be asking for who has chainsaws that are 28 inches and greater. And so we do see trees that are 4 to 5 to 6 feet in diameter that we're going to need some big saws to take down. And so, as President Bell had mentioned, the more saws, the merrier. And this week, the bigger the saws, the better. The plenty of room at the campsite. There are several campsite questions. There's plenty of room at the ball field. And so it is first come, first serve. We encourage you to get there at a reasonable time. On Friday, we haven't had any room concerns or any issues there with the number of campers. We will have someone posted there the entire time, so you can leave your tents up. We'll have someone monitoring that to ensure that things are safe. Work order crews, again, you will be assigned a handler. Crews will be assigned a handler from our work order team, be able to communicate back and forth. There's a question about, do you need the app? You do not need the app. It may be helpful to have the app, but we will communicate with you via text or email. There will be PDFs that you can look on your phone to give you the details that are needed. One other question came up about US 25. I went to look on the website and it does look like it may be open, but is there someone from Asheville or someone from the area that could maybe comment on the status of US 25 coming from Kentucky?
Maybe one of the things that we could do here, Burke, is after you've gone through this list, if you want to text Pool and see if he has that information, and then we can share it once you know.
Very good. Chainsaw safety course was posted. Mike, we have a question about crisis cleanup and getting a login. If someone does not know anyone from their state that has an account, how should we get them do we want to turn them honorary Sugar Hill Stake members? What's your recommendation on if they want to sign up for crisis cleanup and don't know who to recommend?
Great question. Here's how crisis cleanup works. As soon as your organization is in there, then you can invite, once you're a member, you can invite other people to join. So if you don't know anyone, you can just post it in the chat. Just, I need your email address and I will invite you. What will happen is you'll become part of the Sugar Hill Steak, which we welcome you with open arms. And but then go into your profile and change your organization to your local stake. That way you're accounted for. But please, yeah, please do that.
Great. Thanks, Mike. One other question, and I want to verify with you before we answer it. Have we posted work command center hours for this week? Are we following week 2 or are we following week 1? What have we decided what the hours are going to be?
Yes, the week 4 hours, and we are week 4. That's how we're keeping track. But if you go on the command site, it has the command center hours, it has the recommended work hours. It's all posted there, and there's a great list of information to read through. And that link to that command website, please pass that to each of your crew members because they're going to pepper you with the same questions. So those hours are listed there. And again, with your crews, we're trying to, since most of us are local, more local, we're not going to Fort Myers or New Orleans. Working a little bit later in the afternoon is recommended on Sunday so that we can get more work done. So we've looked at 3 o'clock as the cutoff time, but adjust for your crew and your crew members. And like I said earlier, there is a command center staff of 30 people that have been working to make sure you can work and get out there and do things. So we want to maximize your time and the length of travel that you've come to help. We want you to help.
Thanks, Mike. We have 2 email addresses for invitations. We will gladly make you honorary Sugar Hill Stakers. With that, there's a question about heavy equipment. Yes, heavy equipment is recommended with week 4. Many of the easier jobs have been taken care of, and so if there's a tractor with a grappling hook or some type of claw, a skid steer, a bobcat, those are worth their weight in gold. One of those can keep 10 to 15 people busy with a couple of good saws. And so if you do have access to, we call it heavy equipment, please bring heavy equipment. You will be put to good use.
Yeah, so for those that are bringing heavy equipment, there is an option when you register your crew to indicate that when you go in and register as the crew leader. If you have already done it and you did not indicate heavy equipment, please do not re-register. It creates problems for us. Instead, just reach out to Brother Seebeck and the work order crews as they start sending information.
Another question came in about a Kawasaki Mule side-by-side. I don't see a need for a side-by-side at this point. Most of the roads are open. We can drive up to those. I don't think a mule would be usable. You may be able to use it to haul some logs, but it may be more in the way than usable with the situation we're in. For heavy equipment, skid steer or backhoe better. Probably a skid steer. Right now, we won't say no to either one. A backhoe can also be listed. What I would ask is whichever one you decide. This is looks like Brother Diaz. Please let your work order handler know, and we will try to match your work orders to the type of equipment that you have. All right. I believe, Mike, that is everything for. Oh, we got another one. I recommend a day to arrive. Recommend time to start on Saturday. Yeah, so we would like to get started as early as possible on Saturday. And so an 8 a.m. start is probably a good timing start to meet at the first work order at 8 a.m. on Saturday. Those that are traveling, we would encourage you to, if you can't get there before 8 o'clock on Saturday, to come Friday night, camp, wake up the next morning, and you get things going. And so we want to make as most use of Saturday as possible. And so starting early and working long, be with reasonable breaks, is what we'd recommend. Non-potable water, yes. So most of it is safe for washing yourself. Like you can take showers with that. I believe President Gillette and President Poole had mentioned a lot of the potability, if you will, is due to the sediments. You're not supposed to drink that, but it is safe for washing clothes and taking showers.
All right, Doug, you've had your hand up for a while. Let's go ahead and go to a question live here.
Sure. Yeah, I saw that we were doing more on the chat. So when we get the chainsaws and the supplies, you want to start at 8, we could go there to the command center early Saturday morning and pick those up, or Friday evening. I'm trying to get t-shirt orders for my crew, and then obviously we're going to see where the work orders are. That may be, I mean, it sounds like you've got some places that might be an hour north of where the command center is, right? So
Correct.
that may not be viable for everybody to come in, then leave and go back out. Make better to meet at that rally point.
Right. So perfect, Doug. The answer there is absolutely come either Friday night or Saturday morning. Bring your order for t-shirts. We'll get all of those fitted so you can take them to the crew, and you can pick up your chainsaw Friday night or Saturday morning.
Yeah, if I can jump in here, I'll be arriving at the command center early afternoon, probably before 1 o'clock. And so if you get to town at 3 or 4, feel free to come on by. We can take care of you as soon as you get there. So don't wait until, the end of the day to come in if you're already in town.
Yeah, we're about 3 hours from you guys if we're lucky. So we got to figure that out. So.
Yep.
And one note for you is that the Weaverville location, the tent site camping number 2 location, if you're tent camping, that's 45 minutes north of the command center. So if you want to stage there or meet there, or meet at the work site is preferable, but that's a good rally point as well.
So we need to get the work orders really to make that determination.
Yep. Yeah, and they are working feverishly to do that, and there is so much work behind the scenes going on, and their goal, and they're all volunteers. They're members from the Asheville Stake, from the Sugar Hill Stake, and from other locations as well. Their goal is just to get you the best information that they have. But Crisis Cleanup doesn't have everything. There are still people that haven't called in. They don't know how to do that. They're older. So that's where we just got to be flexible. But the work orders that you'll get, that'll get you out in the field, that'll get you going, and then just kind of roll with it and be inspired in where you go and what you do and what you can pick up as well. Don't get wrapped around that you got to have a crisis cleanup work order in your hand.
Yeah, and one other point, if you're rolling in Saturday morning or whenever, we start work at 7 a.m. So you can get there at 7 a.m. and get tools.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, we're going to just see with the crew that we have. We'll see what it's going to probably be a mix, but okay, that I just figure out for myself. But I appreciate that. Thank you.
There was a question
George,
on t-shirt sizing.
Oh,
yeah, I see that.
yeah. So for the t-shirts, the smallest size available is an adult medium. Supplies are, we have t-shirts at the command center. They're kind of first come, first serve. Sometimes some of your smaller youth may look like they're wearing larger nightgowns to wear that yellow shirt, but we'll do our best to get those orders taken care of. Let's go to another question. George Herner, see you've got your hand up. Oh, you need to come off mute, my friend.
Hello?
Okay, you hear me?
Yes.
There you go.
Okay, you mentioned that the RV or trailer parking will be at the stake center. How many spaces are available there? Number one, there's power at the stake center, obviously, but will there be a power bank for those RVs or trailers to plug into 30 amp or 40, 50 amp cords to power up their units?
No, you'll have to come self-contained. Yeah, there's
So there's space at the stake auxiliary building, but the church building can't provide that much power to the trailers.
Okay, well, how many spaces are there? And if there aren't that many, Is there an alternate, a recommended alternate location to go with an RV or a trailer?
Yeah, one of the issues with that stake center, it's called the Stake Assembly Building. It's a huge parking lot. But they have state conference there on Sunday. I think is that at 10 a.m.? But you need to be out of that parking lot, I think
Yeah,
by
8:30, 8:30. Yeah, by 8:30 a.m. that parking lot needs to be cleared so that the members can gather there. And this is what you're looking at here. If you can look at your screen, this is the Asheville Command Center website. So all the information I just shared is located right here, and that link is in the chat. And maybe someone can repost that link as well. So this has all the latest information on the RV trailer parking site as well as the other tent sites as well.
Well, if we're pulling out of that stake center by 8:30, and then hopefully trying to make the sacrament meeting, it's going to be a little bit tough trying to find an alternate parking space for an RV or a trailer to relocate, park, go to sacrament, and then potentially work in the afternoon as well.
Well, our sacrament meeting will be done before that time. So you should have time to leave the sacrament meeting at the location that we'll have Sunday morning to be able to get back to the stake auxiliary building to move. So it would be after our sacrament meeting, not before necessarily.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Stuart Clark.
Yes, thank you. How do I register? Just the basics. I told my stake that we would be coming. I don't know if they've registered us or do I need to register?
So there's a link that was sent in the chat for registering teams. There's also a link on the website for the command center that Brother Olson is sharing right there. It would
That's
be
what it looks like right here.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a
There's
very
also a
first
link
button. Very first button
So
on the
I need to-
command center side. But that's for
So
your crew leaders to register, not
Right.
for your stake to register. But yeah, each crew leader needs to register there. And I'll show you this when you click on that link right there, it pulls
Yeah.
up this questionnaire, and that's where they'll enter their email, what unit they're from,
Yeah.
grade information, contact information, and they'll note what they need, what they're bringing with
So-
if they're a heavy crew.
So to get there, I just go to the Asheville Command Center and then I can get the link.
Yeah, so the link
Yep.
to the command center page is posted in the chat, Brother Clark,
Okay.
by President Bell. So if you find that link, it's near the bottom of the chat right now. You can use that and then follow the link that Brother Olson is showing to register your crew.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's a great question in the chat there. Yeah, so only the team registration link, just to be clear, that's only the crew or team leader should register. And when he
Yes.
registers, he's going to denote how many workers are on the team.
Yes.
And that's so we try to have some form here. So that's how everything gets disseminated is via your crew leader.
Okay.
So make sure he's a good one. He or she. We've had amazing sister crew leaders that do amazing job. So don't discount that. Love to have the sisters involved and the youth. And I believe there was a question about the youth age.
Yep, and that was answered in the chat. We're recommending 14 and up, but defer to parent judgment.
All right. One other point, Mike, we've been talking about, only the crew leader needs to register. If you're a crew member, you do not need to register. We want only the crew leaders to register. Crew members do not need to register on crisis cleanup. We encourage that. That's fine. Everyone can have access to know what's going on, but not required for that.
Thanks. Let's go to Eric Hamblin. You've got your hand up.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, we're coming from Arizona and we're gonna have a heavy crew with chainsaws and everything we would need. We'll be self-sufficient. But we're gonna be there all week. So we've got some questions on the availability of the campsite. And I know you guys are set up for weekends, and so I've already got work orders with Jeff Seebeck. But we still have some questions on just the campsite.
So maybe
Yes.
I can comment quickly on the campsite. The campsite is at a middle school, and they have started that middle school. So I do not believe that campsite will be available during the week. We can work to find a campsite that we can refer you to at this point, but I would not make plans to use that campsite during the week as there will be school in session. We're excited for the kids to get back to school, but that is going to necessitate a move from the campsite during the week.
You know, Eric, during the
I thought we
week,
were told, oh,
yeah,
go ahead.
Eric, during the week, you could stay at the stake assembly building. That would be available during the week.
Okay, perfect, because I thought that's the one we needed to, because we'll have pickups and equipment and trailers and.
Yeah, you'll just have to make sure you don't have all your trailers there on Sunday during that state conference time.
Okay, so we might arrange to just come there Sunday night. Would that be the best thing?
Yeah, Sunday afternoon, you'll be fine.
Okay, because our plan was to be there Saturday night, but it sounds like it would be just easiest if we came Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening.
Yeah, so Eric, let's visit offline about that. I think we can make arrangements for you. I'm aware of your group that's coming. We want you to be there. Yeah. Eric, I'll send you my email address and we can visit.
Okay, do you have my email? You should, I think.
I think I do. I do have it. Yeah, I'll get hold of you, Eric. I have your information. I'll get that.
Okay,
All right.
that would be
And
great.
one quick note for brother Eric from Arizona: just bring a jacket. Don't know if you know what that is, but yeah, bring a jacket.
Hey, we live at 7,000 feet, so we got that taken care of.
It was colder
Okay,
here
all right,
last Saturday than it was in Asheville.
Yeah,
all right.
We live in
You guys are
mountains.
good.
okay.
Glad to have you. Thank you.
We'll plan on jackets.
All right, Grant Thomas.
Okay.
Hey, how are you doing?
Fantastic.
So I know we're going to get the work orders via, printed out sheet. Just is the best way as we fill those out and complete them. Do you want those turned in at the end, or let us know our contact in the command center? Hey, we finished this one. We're going on to the next one, but then
Yep.
also they'll turn them in at the end.
Great.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you're
great
actually not going to
question.
receive paper copies. What
Yeah.
you're going to receive, Grant, is an email that will
Okay.
give you a link to a folder that is dedicated for your crew. And what will happen is the work orders assigned to your crew will be populated in there as PDFs, so you'll be able to access them on your device. You'll have the ability to then communicate directly with one of the people at the command center. You'll be given that contact information. You'll just let them know the work order number, that it's been closed out, and they'll take care of everything for you. You don't have to fill anything out that way. The other thing that will happen is that as the situation changes, and this goes for any of the crew leads that are still on the call, that folder is dynamic. It will be updated for you as you provide information to the command center. and additional work orders will be put in there as you work through close out the ones that have been assigned to you. So just know that that same link will work, and the information in the folder for your crew will be updated throughout the weekend.
Awesome. Thank you.
So one question here is how many work orders should you complete over the weekend? I mean, it really depends, brothers. We may give you a work order, and you and your crew of 20 with 2 skid steers and a bobcat may get half of it done, based on the size of the work order. Or we could give you a work order and you could be done with it in 15 to 20 minutes. It is very dependent on the size and the magnitude. And so this is where as much information as we can get for your size, your capabilities of your crew, we will match those to the needs. And so, we would expect on average the crews to clear out between 4 and 8 work orders during the weekend on average, but we've had some heavy crews clear out less than 1, and we've had some crews do well into the double digits. And so it really depends. That's where that information is absolutely critical from this. How many release forms should we bring? If everyone is that you can print out, I would print out 10. If you can bring 10, that's probably a good. I don't 10's I would think a sufficient number. We don't anticipate you using all 10, but better to have too many than not enough in this situation.
And here's the link for those church release forms. They're at the bottom of the web page.
And someone did post that in the chat also. I think it was Riley had posted that. Thank you very much for posting that for us.
Perfect.
Mike, just a confirmation. Also, these slides are going to be posted on the website, correct?
Absolutely. And I probably should have said this is being recorded as well. So you've all been on your best behavior, which is great. And we'll post that as well. Yeah, right here at the top, you can see the registration link, the meeting that you're on right now. We'll get that removed. And then right here, registration, there's a training video from week 2, and we'll add a week 4 that has the slide deck and also the video if you want to share that with your crew. Always great to share that information.
Yeah, there was a question here that talked about the recommended tools for tree cutting. So a chainsaw, absolutely. As Brother Bell had mentioned, the sled's very important because we're going to be cutting these trees in yards and hauling them off to the road, and so having some type of equipment, mechanical leverage to get them out is important. Make sure you bring your gloves. Long sleeves, there is poison ivy and poison oak around. Please be careful of that. First aid kit, chaps, hearing protection. That is probably most critical. And bring your muscles because they're going to be put to use hauling wood.
I want to go back to Eric Hamblin. Eric, have you registered your team yet? Eric, are you still on? Maybe you left us. Okay, because
I would imagine he has, Craig, if he's already been in contact with Jeff.
Yeah, I've looked though. I didn't see it. I didn't see it when I looked.
President Bell, he is on there. I did see that earlier.
That's awesome.
So yeah, he's in contact. And that's the great thing, just to note for everyone that registers, that's kind of the part that gets you connected. So when your crew leader registers on there, then you're going to get in contact with the work order team, with the command center, and you've got a direct connection. And that's one of the things we've learned is trying to do this earlier in the week, just to do as much as possible before we show up on Friday night or Saturday morning early. So use that to your advantage to get prepared. And like I say, those guys, they have worked their hearts out, and they just want you to have the best experience and do as much work as possible.
What is the website address?
I'll post it again.
If you go to the top of the chat, if you click on chat, go to the very first comment on the chat from Craig Bell. That is the website right there.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Mike, I think we are caught up on the chat.
I saw something about pole saws.
I just commented on
useful.
That. Yep.
Oh, you did?
And,
okay.
Yeah, I
great.
did. You may not need all of them, but when you do need them, they can come in. They can come in very, very handy. And so, all equipment like that, I think it was someone had also mentioned wedges for cutting trees. Absolutely, bring bring those. Those with the particularly this time we're gonna have really big trees, and so saws getting stuck is gonna be something we'll need to be mindful of, and wedges do help with that. Right.
A reminder, we don't. sell
One other question, what are those little handheld, like the 6-inch, well, they're almost like pruning saws for cutting up limbs and, smaller limbs. Would that be beneficial to bring along?
If you
Yeah.
have room, you could bring it, but I don't think you're gonna bring it out. There's if it's not gonna take up any room, you can bring it, but I think that would
Oh, yeah, they're
rarely
tiny. You're
be
talking
put
about handheld kind of thing, they're small.
Yeah,
But,
this is
for,
we're talking. This is more rough carpentry than finished carpentry, and so this
okay,
is we're swinging big hammers and big axes, and we're trying to get as much done with each cut as possible. So
okay.
the smaller
I'll,
pruning is not much good.
I would
All right.
add, we last week there was one of those with us, and that was probably the most useful tool. Just because I mean, the cutting a branch is much faster than with that than the chainsaw.
Yeah.
Well,
so
that's what I was thinking from last time, when the trees are down, you got all these branches, you come in with one, just start cutting those branches away from the main trunk.
Yeah, and so you can use loppers for those, right? You can do just the
Yeah,
mechanical
I've got
loppers.
those too, yeah.
Yep, get those. Those can be very, very helpful. Good point.
But if
Okay.
they work for you, bring it. If you think that it'd be helpful, go ahead and bring it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, brothers. Any other questions? Oh, see, there's a question here on electricity for the campsite. There is not electricity at the campsite generally available. There will be outlets. There are different outlets that you can find, but not a central power spot for the campsite. So if you do need power, we would encourage you to bring a generator.
Now, at the campsite, there is a central location for restrooms, and there will be 4 showers available at this kind of the center of that ball field campsite. You can have showers at the YMCA, which is fairly close to the campsite. They've offered that, and they're open till 5 p.m. That may not work time-wise, but it is available. Some of you have heard about the latest trend of cold plunging. We're going to market the showers as a cold plunge shower experience. How's that?
I feel healthier already.
Yes, yes, it'll be exhilarating.
All right, and so there was a question about a cant hook or a PV. I assume that a cant hook. I'm not sure exactly what a cant hook is. Is that if that's something that hooks onto the log and drags it? If
Yeah.
that is the case, absolutely, those can be helpful. Good.
Great questions. Lots of good questions.
All right.
Good.
I saw Dane Olson put in there that baby wipes are great for potential poison ivy exposure. I will also say, given the pine trees that are down and the potential sap, that rubbing alcohol wipes are great to remove that. So just be mindful of that as well.
Yeah, and on the poison ivy, just as a heads up, it can exist on clothes. My 2 boys were on a work cruise a couple weeks ago. Came back without poison ivy. This week, poison ivy came because they were on the gloves that they had used and they were working doing other things and didn't realize that they were still on the gloves, and we got reintroduced to poison ivy this week in the Hunsaker house. So please be careful. Understand that the poison ivy, the oils can live on the clothes and the gloves that you've got, and so be mindful of that.
All right. Any
Good.
final questions here? This has been a great session. All right. If there are no further questions, as Brother Olson mentioned, the website has just a ton of information for the command center. Please use it, and please recognize that it gets updated frequently. So additional information will be posted there as we get more and more information, as we finalize plans for the sacrament meeting, for example, the location that will be posted. So please make use of that website and feel free to reach out with any other questions that you may have as we go. If there's nothing else, then we'll go ahead and close the meeting. I'll express my gratitude up front before we even get started for just your willingness, your availability to travel great distance, to be there with us in the Asheville area this weekend. I will also thank you ahead of time for your patience. As I mentioned, as we come to the tail end of available work orders, we're going to rely on you to be on the lookout for work that you see is needed, and to be in contact with those homeowners, get them to sign those forms, and get the work taken care of. Don't feel that you have to strictly follow the work orders that have been given to you in your folders. But again, thank you. We look forward to working with you. We look forward to handing out gold stars for the crews that follow the guidance and only send their crew lead or a designate to the command center. Mike already has them ready to hand out. So we just really appreciate all of your hard work and effort and sacrifice. And with that, we'll go ahead and close and look forward to seeing you this weekend. Thanks so much, brothers and sisters.
Thank you.
Thank you.